To DC. I hope I said your name right.
Yeah, Raul.
How? Thank you. Just describe this opportunity for you now, being a veteran in this league, and what does this opportunity offer for you?
It means a lot for me. Being around a lot of young guys that are hungry to work, to learn, and to listen. That's huge, not just for me, but for the whole team, for them. So I'm very happy with the opportunity, being here with the Wizards and getting a shot again in the league and trying to not only help them, but them helping me, as young players and guys that are growing in this league. I think it's a great opportunity for me, and I'm trying to take advantage of the opportunity every day. We have great vets too, not just for the young guys, but for me, like West, Russ, and Ish Smith. I think both guys in playing the same position that's been in the league longer. So I think it's going to be great for me.
I'm interested too with the diversity of the team. Would you have you reached out to Nene to kind of ask him about what the city is like and how to experience it?
I haven't talked to him yet after I signed. I remember when he was playing here, playing together in the national team, he would always talk about the team, how great they were, and how good of organization they are. And I think when the opportunity came for me to sign with the Wizards, that was something that was in the back of my mind. Those conversations with Nene back in the day was really helpful for me to choose the Wizards.
Appreciate it, man. Welcome to town.
Thank you.
Quentin.
Open to DC, Raul.
Thank you.
I'm interested to see, what is your perspective for one on Russell Westbrook as a player and that kind of dynamic? I know when you joined the team, it was coming into it, it was John and Brad. That's the kind of the dynamic you were preparing yourself to work with. So now with that quickly being a different change of plans, how do you view Westbrook, and also how have your interaction with him been since you've been here with the team?
It's been great. It's crazy because we've had dinner together at the bubble. I didn't know him before that. We had dinner in the same table. We were hanging out with Tobias, some guys from Philly that know Russ, and I think we talked a little bit there, and then now we're here together. I don't think it changed anything for me. I came prepared to do my job, do the best I can to get better every day and worry about the things that I gotta worry to and just enjoy and have fun, and it's been great with I didn't have that much time with John Wall. I think I saw him a couple of times, but we're not practicing. So, but with Westbrook, it's been great. He got here yesterday. He brings that voice. He brings that leadership that I think it's great for that team. And I'm very happy and I'm very excited to see what's going on with the season.
And also, what are your expectations? Maybe not expectations, but what are your early takeaways from Denny Avdia, and what do you see from him so far, practicing with him and just being around?
Yeah, he's a good young player. He played overseas, in a best league overseas. So he's been playing against pros for a while. So he has this knowledge on the game. He knows spacing. He knows a lot of things that usually some young guys don't know it. So I think he's gonna learn. He's still young. He has a lot space to improve, and he's one of those guys that like to ask you questions and listen and trying to get better. So I think he has a bright future, and he's gonna be great for us.
Thank you again. Welcome to DC.
Appreciate it.
Fred.
Hey man, how you doing?
Good, good.
I am just curious, kind of building off of that. What do you see as your role within this team? I know, like, specifically they had talked about a resting plan for John. Was that something they discussed with you when you came in? And if so, what do you see your role now that obviously Russell has come in as well?
Yeah, that was something we talked about before. Russ came here. We knew that John Wall was going to rest some games coming back from injury. That would be an opportunity for me. I don't know what changed for me, but like I said, my mindset's still the same. Every time I go out there, I have to prove myself and I have to play well. I have to do the best as I can. And I think that will be something for coach to decide, what's my role. And I'm just trying to enjoy. I'm just trying to take day by day and get better. Honestly, it's early. We haven't played a game. We barely play 5-on-5 on practices, but that's something that honestly I don't know what's going to be my role, but whatever it is, I'll be ready to go.
Thank you.
Chase.
Hey, Raul, welcome to DC.
Thank you.
Tommy Shepard talked about your defense and how well it shows up in analytics as a big reason why they signed you. What do you think you could bring to this team on the defensive end?
I think I understand space, and I will always fight. I'm never going to stop on defense. I'm going to rotate, scramble, and that's the way kind of that we play defense over here. From what I saw the last 2-3 days in training camp, they like that fight on defense. That keep playing whatever going on. You just gotta find the next man, and I think I'm very good at it. And also my voice, I think, is something that I can help the young guys to kind of understand and help with details on pick and rolls, on the weak side, help. I think I've been in the league enough. I've seen enough. So I think that voice is going to be something that will help the defense. And also that I think that energy and that fight, I think that every defense needs it.
Jenny.
Hi, Raúl. My question is, lo voy a decir en español. Mi pregunta es, primero, el cambio de equipo que te afecta, ya es tu tercer equipo, psicológicamente en tu juego. Y mi segunda pregunta sería, ¿cómo te planteas o qué aspiraciones tienes en ese recambio con Brady o con Russell Westbrook?
Sí, bueno, yo creo que como he hablado antes, en inglés la mentalidad no cambia, ¿no? Yo quiero dar el máximo cada día, hacer mi mejor cada día y, bueno, la oportunidad que tenga, como antes en los últimos 5 años en la liga, voy a aprovecharla, ¿no? Tenemos un equipo joven, un equipo que tienen 2 líderes, que es Brad, Bill y Russell, y creo que vamos a jugar detrás de ellos, ¿no? Yo creo que ellos traen mucha energía, traen mucha calidad para nuestro equipo y bueno, espero que podamos ayudarles a llegar al playoff y a intentar lo máximo posible de hacer un buen campeonato.
Gracias.
Neil.
Hey, Raul, welcome to DC. I'm curious, obviously, I'm sure it's been an adjustment in a short off season for you, but what have been some of your early takeaways about the Wizards as an organization?
The biggest thing, and I've told them even before we start training camp, was the vibe I got from the team in the bubble. A lot of young guys hungry, trying to fight and sharing the ball, playing a team basketball. That was that I remember in the bubble when I came here. Felt that too. There's no ego. Working hard, we compete, and then after practice over, everybody's good. Everybody are just enjoying the journey, enjoying being together, enjoying the opportunity. I think that's huge for a team that want to accomplish something, and I think that's the biggest thing that I saw even before I came here, and now with training camp, I think I've seen even more.
Fred, did you have another one?
No, sorry. I still haven't figured out Zoom and remember to lower my hand. I'm good.
No problem. Ben?
Hey, Raul, welcome to DC. I was just curious, now that you guys are a couple of days into training camp, is there something that stood out for you in comparison to the past teams you've played for, including the Sixers or Jazz?
Yeah, I think what I said, the vibe that we have over here. We compete, we play hard, but everybody help each other. There's no, like I said, no ego. Everybody's trying to get better. Everybody's trying to compete. it's like a health, competition on the court where we all know we can only play 5 guys on the court. So everybody's trying to get their minutes and fight and get better. Every time everybody's just trying to prove something. Most of the guys still have something to prove in this league. So I think it's a healthy competition. That's what I think is stood out for me. Like I say, we haven't done a lot of 5-on-5 or playing games. So it's hard for me to tell, but that's the thing that I think stood up for me.
All right, last question. We're going to go to Glenn.
Oh, welcome to DC. Playing for Quinn Snyder and Brett Brown, when you look back and your entry into the NBA, what have you learned from those guys and playing for those 2 teams?
I mean, a lot. I think mostly from Quinn Snyder because I was there for 4 years, So I think he gave me the opportunity in this league. He kind of took me under his arm the first year and just taught me a lot of things that coming from overseas you don't know, like how to play defense on some guys, how to be more aggressive, how to impact the game. And those things from Queen in my first 4 years with Utah was huge. The knowledge of the game, knowing when to take a shot or making better decisions, spacing, kind of understanding that who you have around you. I think that was great from Queen with the Utah Jazz, and I think with Brad, it was a tough year. We didn't play as expected, and I think he's patient. The way he kind of like approach every bad moment that we had, and just being patient and trusting and being positive. I think that was something I learned from him, and I think for me it's great. The situation I've been the last, I think 3 years in the league, it's just never knowing when you're gonna play and going through up and downs. And I think having this patience and working hard every day and just being ready, it's something that it's been great for me. And I think that's something I learned a little bit. I had that before, but I learned a little even more than from Brett with Philly last year.
Thank you. Best of luck this year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Raul.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Raul.
We'll still have Coach and Troy coming up shortly. Troy, how you doing? Ooh, hold on. All right, ready? Cool. All right, we'll keep it going with Chris Miller here.
TV, what's going on?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm great, man. I would ask you what sneakers you wore today in practice, but I'll say that for later. Can you speak to this being your 3rd year? What do you have to do you think, to earn the wing position job the start of the season?
I mean, the biggest thing for me is just coming in here and, playing with confidence. I mean, for me personally, I don't think there's anything on the court that I'm not capable of. I feel like in the bubble, I got a chance to show that, and Tommy and Brooks gave me an opportunity to go out there and play my game and put the ball in my hands. And so at the end of the day, for me, I think that's really it, is just me going out and playing and being confident in my play. So,
And just to follow up on going from rookie year to last year to now, like, where do you see your biggest growth? Maybe off the court, on the court, just as a young player in this league?
I would just say for me, this year is just being vocal. Just kind of taking, like I said, just taking what I learned in the bubble and, bringing it to training camp and just making that a habit, just being that leader. Because at the end of the day, when you don't have guys like Brad and Bertans out there and stuff like that, those guys who are usually vocal in practice, somebody has to step up. And it's one of those things where at the end of the day, Brad needs help being a leader too. And so that's one thing I'm learning and just kind of earning my respect, especially coming in here this year and just kind of setting the tone and setting the standard. So yeah.
Chase.
Hey, what's up, Troy?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. When Russell Westbrook entered the league in 2008, you were 9 years old. What's it like being his teammate right now? Obviously, I'm sure you grew up watching him.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a cool experience, you know, especially with guys that you've watched for so long and now they're your teammates and you hear all the stories and stuff like that, but you're really up close and personal. And especially me coming into my third year and kind of having some years on my belt, it definitely is a good experience. And he's definitely somebody just like Brad, like I want to learn from and just, you know, pick their brains. These guys are both all-stars and I feel like they complement each other very well, just their personalities and how much they love the game. You know, they don't take the game for granted at all. So I think they'll definitely be good together.
And what's it been like facing him so far as an opponent? I don't know if you've matched up with him directly, but I would imagine it's an experience.
No, for sure. I mean, you guys hear all the stories. You know, he's 110 every time he steps on the court, and you know that's real life. That's real. And so, you know, it's just one thing is you always know that every day that he steps on the court, he's going to bring the intensity. So you better be ready for your matchup. But playing against him, you know, the past couple of years have been pretty good. So.
Ava?
Hey, Troy. Nice to see you again. Obviously, one of the things that you improved the most in the bubble is everyone kind of lauded your leadership growth and how much, like you said, how much more vocal you were. When you then had to kind of leave and take a pause so you could have your off season and start working on your game, is that something you set aside, or how do you kind of work on that and make sure you pick up where you left off now that you arrived back in training camp months later?
I think it's just like I said, just setting a standard. You know, like every day I come out here, you know, I try to keep the intensity up. Always try to be vocal regardless if it's unnecessary or not. Like, you know, I'm going to talk, you know, I'm going to be loud in the gym, clapping. And so, you know, just try to make that the culture and try to make that the normal around here. And so just trying to do my part. And like I said, Brad, we know Brad, this is Brad's team. And so at the end of the day, he needs people to step up and be a leader on the court. And, you know, for me to be able to take some of that pressure off of him definitely helps. So.
And then what did you focus on in your game just in the short break you did have from basketball?
I would just say the same thing that I was working on in the bubble, just working on my body fat, just keeping sure that my body is right and being able to guard quick guards and making those next level jumps physically. And then 3-point shooting, obviously, that's a big thing for me. And I definitely feel like I'll do a good job of that this year.
Thanks, Troy.
Dave Johnson?
Hey, Troy, can you just talk about the vibe around the team when you think about, you know, Bertans is coming back. The draft was a success. I'm just curious, you know, what the vibe's like as you talk about everything that's happened in the offseason. Now you're bringing it to the court.
I would just say it's just good energy. I felt like Tommy and Coach Brooks have done a great job of just keeping everybody organized and, you know, just talking to us and, you know, keeping us together as a team. You know, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened this offseason, but, you know, through the development of these past couple of years, you know, especially me coming in my third year, Rui had a good year this year, you know, or last year, you know, especially, you know, we got guys like Bonga and Mo Wagner. We picked up Denny. So, you know, we're just adding pieces of guys that are really complementary and that want to play together and that want to win. So I think it's definitely building a good culture and, you know, we just got to translate that to the court.
Fred?
Hey, Troy. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just wondering, last time we really got a chance to talk to you in the bubble, you were talking about how two of the things you worked on were kind of quickness and being able to guard smaller guards, as well as kind of lead ball handling and that kind of stuff. Was that your continued focus during the real off season? Did you have other stuff? How did you operate there? What'd you work on the most?
I mean, for me personally, I think the biggest thing was just watching film from the bubble. Obviously, with Russ and Brad being our primary ball handlers, of course, I'll be able to get my pick and rolls and stuff like that. But for me personally, I feel like that type of mindset of me playing that guard position never really goes away. And so, of course, you key in on those things. But the biggest thing for me is just making sure that I could be complimentary to those guys and being able to fill that role of you being able to knock down shots because they're both really good at penetrating and kicking and getting guys open. So that and then just, you know, like you said, my lateral quickness and just working on everything overall, just trying to be a really good complementary player, but then at the same time knowing when to be dominant and when to attack and be my own player, you know. So definitely finding that balance.
And just one quick follow-up on that. I know ultimately you do want to be able to get to as high as you can as a playmaker and all of that. you've got a guy who just won an MVP at that position. What are you asking him? Like, you said you want to pick his brain. What questions are you asking him? What are you trying to learn from him right now?
I think the biggest thing is just like reads and stuff like that. Obviously I'm not the most athletic guy like Russell Westbrook, but at the end of the day, with a guy that has that mindset and has been in the league and is a 9-time All-Star, they definitely see things and see the game a lot different. And it's more of a mental game than it is a physical game at that point, and so definitely just trying to pick his brain off of stuff, him playing off the pick and roll, his reads, just stuff like that you don't get to see that every day. Same thing I do with Brad. I ask a lot of questions just because it's like, okay, well, yeah, I'm an NBA player, but at the end of the day, if you have more experience than me and you've been a 2-time All-Star and I haven't, I definitely want to pick your brain and learn from you. So, whatever comes up, I'll definitely ask. And those dudes do a great job of, being open ears and never making us feel like we're asking dumb questions, even though we're young and stuff. So they do a good job of leading us by that. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Troy.
Quentin.
What's good, TB?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. It's no secret. I mean, you were in the league. Well, you're in the league entering your 3rd year. You kind of grew into knowing John and Brad. So kind of take us behind the curtain to when you got that news that John was going to be swapped for Russell Westbrook and, kind of you and John's relationship over the first 2 years you've been in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely crazy. At the end of the day, it's hard, because those are guys that, you played with and guys that when that was my first year being in the league, John was there and guys that, like you guys have said, I was like, 8 or 9 when John came into the league, so you definitely build those relationships and stuff like that, but it definitely comes with the business side of things. But just from my standpoint of being with John, I just want to thank him, just out loud and acknowledge that, because whenever I had questions and he was hurt, make it easy for me to go talk to him or ask questions and stuff like that. And like I said, he never made it seem like it was a dumb question and he was willing to help. So yeah, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's a part of the business. And so we all have to be ready for that side of it.
And also, I saw this offseason, you're blogging, you're vlogging, you're doing all these things. Kind of talk about your passion for the journalism side as well, obviously, and also what you're trying to do as an influencer with, your YouTubing and all that stuff and gaming as well, even though you're not better than me at Warzone, but,
Anyways, but for me personally, it's just one of those things where I really enjoy it, the vlogs and stuff like that, just the process of putting them together and, kind of having a platform and just having fun with it. I feel like as NBA players, people put a lot of pressure on us to just dribble and shoot and, to not be our own people. And so for me, I refuse to kind of stay in that box of just being a basketball player, especially when you have the platform and this isn't given forever. Everybody's career is different. And so for me, I just try to take advantage of the time and just do what I'm passionate. So I would definitely say the vlog thing for me is definitely another way to just get away from basketball and do something I love.
Appreciate that, TB.
Sure.
All right, we got time for a couple more. Winston.
Hey, TB, what's up, man? How you feeling?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. Everybody's answer to this question is always going to be different, but what are your expectations for this season, whether it be on the court, off the court? What are your expectations for yourself entering your all-important 3rd year?
For me personally, I mean, not to put like pressure on myself or anything like that, but it's just about making a jump. Every year since I've been in the league, I feel like I've done that. And so this 3rd year, I feel like the expectation is like, okay, you're a pro. Like at this point, like they've given me time to develop and let me be who I am. And as a player, even getting to go into the bubble and have the ball in my hands. So now it's more so of me just playing my game and coming in and night out and just making sure that I'm comfortable and just going out and playing my game regardless of what that is and just doing whatever the team needs to win. So.
Cool. Thank you very much.
All right, last question from Neil.
Hey, Troy, hope you're doing well. Obviously, it's only been 3 days, but has there been anything that, besides yourself and besides Russell Westbrook, has there been anything else that's kind of caught your eye in these early days of camp?
Could you say that again?
Besides yourself and besides Russell Westbrook, has there been anything else that has caught your eye in camp so far?
Just the energy, man. The energy around this building is really good right now. I think everybody's really excited for this year and just, knowing the opportunity that we have, especially with guys getting time to develop and coming in here day in and day out and having the facilities and stuff like that. I think everybody's really excited to just go out and play and just be the team that we know we can be. There's going to be some ups and there's going to be some downs, but at the end of the day, I feel like we're fully capable of being a playoff team. So at the end of the day, we just got to come in here and hold each other accountable, and just making sure we're working hard, listening to coach. And I think that everything else will play out the way it's supposed to. So.
Thanks, Troy.
I appreciate you, Troy.
For sure.
What's up, Scotty? How are you?
Doing good, Chris. How you doing?
Doing well. So what was it like when he was dribbling the ball today? And you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, it definitely felt like old times. I've seen it. I've seen the intensity. I've seen him raise the group's level before. I'm sure the players didn't realize that that's what he does. But when you could tell that everybody locked in and everybody raised their level up, the thing that they're going to know that this is just not because it's his first day. This is who he is. That's how he prepares. That's how he gets ready, and that's how he's always like that. And his voice was heard. He just has a good way about him. He's upbeat. He's positive, but he's intense, and he knows how to. It's crazy that he's only been practicing one day. He watched, and one day, today's the first day, but just knows how to, talk to players and get them to do the right things.
I know how you are. You do things that kind of get players' attention without them really figuring it out until they go, oh, that's what coach meant. So was it you, Pat, Ish, or somebody on the medical staff that was monitoring people that have never practiced with Russ? And what were their facial expressions when he started to get going?
You can just see it. I mean, when he was, like I said, he just has a way about him. This guy is he's obviously a first team or a first ballot Hall of Famer. But he's now, he's definitely he's a coach on the floor. I think that partnership with him and Brad, and they're about the same things, and they're about basketball. That's their job, and that's what they love to do. And all the other things are basically, it comes from that. But you can see the players' intensity. You can see their face, enthusiasm. Like I said the other day, that some of these guys were 9, 10 years old, and they just started following basketball, and they were seeing Russell in his first couple of years in the league, so they grew up watching him. And I remember having this conversation many, many years ago when I first started coaching Russell in the group that I had, that how they looked up to Kobe and the Shaqs and even the Jordans, that if they keep doing what they're doing, that all the younger generations are going to be looking up to you that same way, the talent base that they had. And it's funny, that's what they're doing now. And he's been in the league for going on 13 years now, but it was a special moment just to see all the guys. But if they don't know, they're in for a surprise, because this is going to be it every day. This is how he is. This is how he prepares. This is how he's focused on getting better himself and getting our team better as well.
Appreciate it, Scotty. Thanks.
Thank you.
Fred?
Hey, Scott. Just following up on that. It sounds like Russell was very comfortable during his first practice, based on what you just said. Maybe this is a better question to ask him, but did you get a sense there was a dipping the toe in the water from him, or was it just a full-on Russell performance immediately?
No, he's, you know him. And the people that don't know him, there's no, I'm going to fill this thing out. I'm going to take the temperature of the group. No, I don't want him to be that way. That's not why we have him. We have him, he's all in. And our players know that. This guy he's elite. He's an elite leader. His professionalism, it's the thing that I love about him. It's not like he's doing things, and I always would tell the group early on in his career, these are the things you're supposed to do. These aren't things that we should be surprised, or you should be rewarded for. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a good teammate. You're supposed to push each other. You're supposed to get on guys. That's what the leaders do, and he did that today. And yeah, he was good, and I'm sure our players felt the same way, because the coaching staff, they saw it immediately.
Dave Johnson.
Scott, it's hard to believe a week from today is the first preseason game. What do you have a checklist of things that'll make for the next 6 days you hope are accomplished, or what will make a good week before you play that first game?
Well, we're just going to put the time in and keep working on things that we need to get going into our first game in Philly. The exhibition is all part of that. The 3 games are all part of the getting ready for that first game. I'm sure most of the guys aren't going to play all 3. Some probably will. But we have the checklist that we want to get accomplished each day going through training camp. Things that we feel pretty comfortable, we move on to the next thing. If we don't feel comfortable, we stay with it. We want to keep working on the important things that we felt going into the season that we need to improve on, and to have our players engaged and ready. And I'm sure the next couple of days we're going to have a few more players added to the group. And today, it's always that, it seems like we've been in the league for 30 years now. It's always that third day. They call the hump day for a reason. Having Russell here on that third day, there was no hump day. Guys were locked in and they were fired up, and they played at the intensity that you need to have to get better as a group.
Chase.
Hey, Scott. With so much three-point shooting in this era, there's a lot more long rebounds. How valuable is it to have rebounding at the guard and wing position? You have Russell Westbrook, but I think Troy Brown Jr. also brings some value there.
Yeah, I mean, we need it. That's an area that we struggled with on the defensive end. There's many times where we played solid defense, we just couldn't come up with the rebound. So we need we have one of the best ever to do it, along with Troy. Troy does it at a high level, but we need to do it by committee. I think the guys that we picked up, even Robin, maybe he doesn't get the rebound, but he clogs things up and does a great job of boxing out. And TB has gotten better. Brewy's going to also continue, but rebounding is a huge part of the game. If you don't rebound, you don't have a chance to win night in and night out.
And I've heard you talk before about how players act after losses and how Russell Westbrook's maybe a little bit different than a lot of maybe some of the younger guys. Was he always like that? Because obviously you knew him younger in his career. Was he always someone who took losses really hard? And do you remember like a story that maybe illustrates that?
Yeah, I mean, losing's not an option. I know that's his mindset. And the one thing that I love about him is he competes. He leaves everything on the floor. He doesn't go home at night thinking, man, I should have played a little harder tonight. He knows that this is a hard league to win games, and it takes a lot to win a game, let alone many games or a playoff series. But one thing that he will always relay to the guys, man, we got to commit to this game and not focus on anything else. These next 48 minutes are really what we've been working hard. We got to put our best foot forward to give ourselves the best chance to win. We've had him at a young age, so it's always been that way, which was great. He's been, his parents raised him the right way. He understands what we're here for. It's about winning games, and this group that we have. Last year obviously we made a transition to work on some things and change things up, and it's a lot of guys got some good experience. But like I said, the first day of practice, now we got to continue to grow up in this league and do it quickly, and then we add some more players to the mix. I think that can help bring that group up to speed.
Glenn?
Hey, Scott. Yesterday I asked Russell how do you coach you? How would you coach you? And he was like, I don't know. You got to ask Scott.
Hey, ask him again today because I want to be able to find that out.
Yeah, but the reason I asked him that is, and he did say he was coachable, and he's always been coachable, and you obviously had him early, but players like him that have that another level of intensity, they're never easy to coach because they're going to make mistakes, and you got to let them make mistakes. But and I know you can't treat every player the same, but how was it coaching him then and compared to what's going to be now?
Well, I think I've gotten that question so many times, especially when I was coaching him at the time. He plays with this spirit, this fiery intensity that you would think outside looking in, that you would think that it's very hard to control or manage. But people were always surprised with my answer. He was one of the easiest guys I've ever coached. I really appreciate and admire guys that compete. And I knew what it took to get into the league and to stay in the league, that you had to be on all the time. And a lot of times when you're so talented and so gifted, and you were given so much early on, I think sometimes, it doesn't always translate to being ready to play. And Russell wasn't given a lot early. He was hardly recruited out of high school. And then when we drafted him, a lot of people thought that he wouldn't be drafted so high. And then after that, they thought that maybe he would be a sixth man of the year. But then after that, maybe he would be a two guard. But the thing that I love about him is that you don't ever have to coach effort with him. You never have to mention it with him. And that helps the team grow in this league, because we have a lot of young, impressionable players on our team. One thing that a coach can tell you, but when you're talking about a player at his level and they see him do it, they listen. They listen. They listen pretty intently.
Thanks.
Ava?
Hey, Scott, I got another rest question for you, so I hope you're not tired of them yet. One thing he said over the years is how much you taught him and how much he worked on his court vision when he was young and coming up with you. And I think that's something most reporters at least think of as being very innate. So I'm wondering how you went about working on that with him. Was it just experience? Was it going through the playbook a ton, or what was your approach there?
Well, when you have a young player in the league, you try to help them understand all the reads, and a lot of positions are hard in the league. But as a point guard, it's a difficult position. It's a tough position. You have to know everything. You got to know time, score, situation, who's hot, who's not, who has a shot, who has foul trouble, everything. I mean, there's a list of things that you have to be able to know, and you have to know it instantly. Otherwise, that you're not going to put yourself or the team in a good spot. And what we would do, and I do it now. Every drill, every warm up, everything that we do is based on how we can help our guys see things clear, see things with precision. And Russell, early on, we did a lot of things like that. His skill, his work ethic, and his talent and his toughness and his determination and drive helped him be all this. And coaching, we had our part, but it was about the work that he's put in, and we're doing it. I don't have to worry about teaching him those reads. I mean, he's picked up the offense pretty quick. He's had some of our sets are the same, some of them are a little different, but he's picked things up. And the one thing I love about our leaders is that they see things. They can come to me or come to one of our assistants and say, hey, I like this little set we do. Hey, let's add this little wrinkle to it. Because a lot of times we don't see it, or a lot of times we think the group is not ready, but they know it. They see it, and they're in the trenches with these guys. But Russell is a high level IQ. I mean, one of the highest I've ever been around. he understands the game and he did it for a long time.
And if I could ask a follow up about your guys who you had in the bubble, specifically like Bonga, TB, and Thomas. I'm sorry, I always get the TBs mixed up. You guys need better nicknames. There are 2 TBs. Anyways, did you see those guys pick up where they left off? I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got 2 guys looking at me.
Sorry. Did you see those guys, your young guys in the bubble who kind of you saw make those strides? Do you feel like they've picked up where they left off when you guys came back from Florida?
Yeah, I mean, the bubble was great. I mean, being one of the 22 teams, our guys got a lot of great experience. We didn't win enough games that we would love to have won, but we were in every game. We competed. A lot of guys were in positions they won't be in this year. You know, if everybody comes back and we stay healthy, they're not going to be in those positions. But those positions that they were in Orlando is going to help them get better in their role that they will have now. And I think it helps. And plus it gave us an extra couple of months to be with the guys. Other than if we didn't have that, it would have been, early March since the guys would have been able to be on the court playing 5-on-5. It's all about growth, and our players were so young that when you have time together, every day together, it helps their growth and get them where we feel that the group can be.
All right, just a couple more here. Quentin.
How you doing, Coach?
Great.
A few of the players that we've talked to so far have all pretty much cited the vibe being different at camp, especially the returning guys. I mean, Raul said that the energy is there. Troy Brown said the vibe was different as well. Everybody's excited. So I know you guys are off tomorrow. What is your assessment of how camp has been so far for you this season through the first week?
It's been great. I thought, like I said, going into even last season, we changed up a lot of the things that we were doing. We brought in a lot of players that we're going to use last season to gain some experience and be together. And it was almost like a university atmosphere. And today, the last 3 days, it's almost like Wizard U. I thought the guys really were locked in enthusiasm, the passion. And I'm big on that. I'm big on enthusiasm because we're all lucky to do what we do. Mm-hmm. And you got to be able to have that and bring that every day because sometimes it can get away from you pretty quick. So I always try to keep everybody perspectives in the right place and having, our 2 leaders are going to be able to do that with Brad and John and the group that we have. They understand that they have to keep working and keep improving and keep better because they want to be long-term players in this league. And the guys that we picked up, Neto and some of the other guys that we added, Robin and DB's coming back. Those are guys who are all they're game changers to your cultures, and those guys are the guys that we want to keep bringing in and building our team on. And I think it's been the three days. I can't every day. It seems like it was. You want to win every practice as a coach, and I thought we won all 3.
Has there been a distinguishable difference from the past few seasons in camp to this first 5 days for you?
Well, I mean, last season I thought was good. I thought we had a lot of good energy and a lot of enthusiasm from our younger group. A lot of guys that didn't play, a lot of guys that maybe had a year in the league but didn't play their first year, Mo and Isak. But the whole team was like that. I thought it was good. And I think that's how we played last year. We played with a lot of love for the game and a lot of almost like youthful enthusiasm. And certain times it was not fun to coach because there's a lot of mistakes that they had to work themselves through. But I understand that you had to be patient, and we were. But this year's it's definitely different. We're bringing in like I said, 9-time All-NBA player, an MVP, and still in the middle of his prime. And the way he prepares, it's priceless. And the way the guys can see him prepare and get ready for the game. He was on the court couple hours before practice, and they're going to know. They might think, okay, maybe that's just his first day, and this is him. No, I'm telling you, he was at 11 o'clock practices that we had his first 7 years when I was with him. No matter what time we came back from the road trip, he was on the court at 9:15, and it was like Groundhog Day. He's there every day, and today was no different. And they're going to see that. They're going to see that this is who he is. This is what he's about. He knows you have to put the work in. You just don't get it overnight. And you don't get success as a team overnight. You have to put your work in every day.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, last question. We'll go back to Fred.
Fred.
Scott, have you given any thought, might be too early for this, but you got to give it a week. So have you given any thought to whether you're going to stagger Russ and Brad or maximize their minutes together?
You know, the great thing having Russell and Brad now, they've both been in the league for quite a bit. Been around and had a lot of success, and they understand. They don't like. There are certain guys that you coach, and the routine, you can't mess up the routine, and a lot of times you try to stay with the same routine, and a lot of times whether an injury took place or the referee gave you 2 or 3 quick fouls, so it just changed up the whole rotation patterns. I think those guys are have enough experience that it doesn't really matter who comes out first, who doesn't come out first, who plays more minutes in the first quarter, who doesn't. We will find the best way to keep them on the court and fresh, not only each game but throughout the season. And I think they both established how they play and what they do. But I think we also have a really good backup point guards and backup wing players that can maybe they can handle and manage the team without having one of them on the floor. I think that's when you become really good, where you don't have to have one of your star players on the floor, and you can still carry the team and keep moving that scoreboard in the right direction. So that's all remains to be seen. That's going to be a preseason work in progress, and also early in the season probably just as well. And it's also fluid. It's not, nothing's going to be etched in stone. It's not, those guys have enough who they are that I don't have to worry about messing up the flow of their game.
Cool. Thanks, Scott.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will send an advisory with upcoming availability soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Hey, Zach, you'll have a video with that today too, right? Link from practice video of Russ and the guys at training camp. He's down there.
He may have logged off, but we'll send out some B-roll also.
Perfect. Thank you.
Uh-huh.